meeting to order in accordance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, Section 30-4-80E, South Carolina Code 1987 as amended. All of the media in the immediate area have been notified of the date, time, location, and agenda of the meeting. We'll now have our prayer by Mr. Govan and our pledge led by Mr. Jeffords.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, it is again that we come asking your grace and your mercy. We ask your directions as you guide us through this meeting. We ask that decisions that be made in the best interest of our children and the citizens of Darlington County. Now, upon the conclusion of this meeting, God, we ask that you will give us traveling mercies as we return back to our respective homes. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you have any citizens' comments? No? Okay, so we'll skip over that part. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the agenda.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, all opposed? All right, 7 passes. Next two items, we can take these two together or separate, but I'll take a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 8th and then the retreat minutes from June 11th.
Madam Chair, I move we combine them and that we approve both of them.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Our next regular board meeting will be, is scheduled for August 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in this room. So you'll note that we will not have a work session for July, correct? That's right. Okay. All right, I'll take a motion to accept the adult education admissions.
Move to accept the adult education.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Nope. All right, I'll now turn the meeting over to Renee and let her present the budget reports for May.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, so you've got the May board reports. They look pretty normal. They look like we have a lot more money than expenditures, but recall that in June we have 4 payrolls, so that will go away next month. I still project that we're going to be a little bit ahead of the game, but we'll know for sure as soon as we get all the final numbers in. Did anybody have any questions about any of the information in the reports? We've started on the audit with new auditors, so we've got a lot of them pulling a lot of paperwork. So, and I think there's something in between the agenda before we look at the GO bond. So we'll be issuing asking for approval to issue the normal GO capital bond, and we've got Bob Dameron on the computer in case you have any questions, and we have legal representation back here with Ben Ziegler's office. If you have any questions of them when we get to that point. Okay, no questions?
All right, I'll now toss it over to Dr. Ferguson. You want to talk about these two new policies?
So the policy JFAB and the administrative rule for JFAB are from change in state law that requires that every district have a inter-district transfer policy for non-resident students. And so we have looked at the model policy from the School Boards Association, also looked at the guidance that came out of the State Board of Education, and worked with our attorneys to craft the policy that is before you. That policy really meets the floor of what the law requires, and so it is what we are required to have in board policy, but does not go beyond the requirements of the law. And so we are submitting that to the board. The law requires that Darlington County School District have a policy in place by August to start the school year that meets the requirements of the law. And so that's why we are bringing it to you today for first reading. It'll come back for second reading in August, and the policy will go into effect and apply for students seeking to enter the district next school year with an application process that opens in the spring of next year or the winter of next year, January and February. What this policy essentially allows and says is that any school within Darlington County that has capacity, space as determined by the school district, is eligible, is open for students anywhere in the state to attend through an application process. And so we would look at all of our schools. We would decide that there's extra room in third grade at this school, extra room in fifth grade at that school. Parents would apply to come into the district, and if they are approved and work through that application process, and if there is space available, they could come into the district, and we would have the option to charge a fee up to the state or the district state share of funding for that student to come in. The reverse side of that is that it also would require that the school district release any child in our district who applies to go to school in another district if they were accepted by that district.
But the funds follow the student, right? Yes or no?
The local funds do not follow the child, so that is where the fee that we could charge students could come in. The state funding would follow that child because if they're in the enrollment, state funding follows that child. A student who is eligible for the Education Scholarship Trust Fund accounts could use those funds to pay the fee that the district charges.
What about athletics?
So the athletics, what this law requires is that there be one transfer allowed for choice, but there are other rules that go into effect through the high school league, and so the law carves out, our policy carves out and says that it is the responsibility of that student and parent to check all eligibility requirements with the high school league, because we cannot guarantee that they would be eligible for high school sports.
Yeah, there's a, I can't get it to come up right now for some reason, it's not loading, but there is a phrase specifically in there, I remember seeing that it calls out that there could be limitations to their ability to take part in some of the extracurricular things, right?
And so high school league would set those eligibility requirements. Okay. I think that I know that the law envisions a world in which those students are eligible, but that eligibility is not year to year. So like they would get to transfer once, but they couldn't change every season back and forth. And so I think that's what it kind of points back.
If they want to come to Darlington County, they could, but they couldn't transfer to Florence County the next year, right?
Correct.
Play football, whatever, okay.
They get one transfer. Beyond that is up to high school league regulations. And they have to otherwise be eligible.
So we had a policy, or we have a policy. How does that deviate from the policy we have in terms of the cost? Because at one time, if a child entered the Darlington County School District, even if he came from Chesterfield, that child was charged a fee, to come over here. Is that fee changed, or how do we deal with that amount? Or is it going to be specified?
That will be a year-to-year determination. The State Department, through its analysis of each district's share, will tell us up to what that can be. I will tell you that right now, we are way below that mark. And so we worked this past year to raise that fee a little bit, but it's less than $1,000. I think it's $750 a semester, so it's $1,500 for the year. it could be up to $6,000. And so that is something that this policy doesn't require us to spell out today, but that is something that this board would need to weigh in on before we get to the application process in the winter. And the board has the ability, for example, to waive it for teacher choice. So if a teacher brings their children in, you could choose to waive the fee for that. We could choose to waive the fee. I think that's probably the only category of student we could waive the fee for, but we would either have to raise it for everybody or keep it where it is. But it could benefit the district because we could attract students from across the line, and we could charge a fee that potentially, if they were ESTF eligible, the state would be paying that fee for them to come across.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna belabor the issue, because I think at the end of the day, if the state says we gotta do it, we gotta do it.
Yes, sir.
Now, my personal opinion, it's another way to implement choice in school districts and mandate that districts do it.
That's exactly, it is the choice
That's
mandate.
exactly what it is. Now, we can dance around it, call it whatever you wanna call it, but that's what it boils down to. And the other thing that it does is gonna if you aren't careful, it's gonna dilute your population. Or it has potential of diluting your population. I mean, it could increase it. But you're gonna go back to the same thing of those big schools that are recruiting kids to come play ball. And that's a part of the high school league issue and, all of that. And this is nothing but a trickle-down effect from the same thing.
So what I have shared with principals is the days of us being afraid of choice are over. We have to make sure we are the best choice. And how can we make sure that we are winning in customer service, we are winning in our offerings, so that students in Florence, Lee County, Marlboro, Chesterfield all choose to come our way instead of our kids choosing to go somewhere else, because they will have the option potentially to go anywhere to any of our neighbors through this policy.
I'm not opposing it. I'm just wanting everybody to understand the underlying realization of what's really being done. I mean, I know it's gonna happen. I get that. You don't have a choice. But I think people need to understand, as a friend of mine used to say, the rudiments of why you're doing what you're doing.
So did you say that the state will put a limit on the fee that can be charged?
They will limit the fee, yes. But it is, I think the Darlington County fee is limited at $6,500, or that's what it would have been last year. It may be up or down this year. They haven't given us that analysis for what we can charge.
So it will
next year.
vary by county.
Correct.
I have one quick question. I was just going to ask you, I mean, obviously this was written based on state law, and as you said, it's not going above anything that's not required. But do you, or amongst superintendents that you're having conversations with, are there any concerns that we need to watch out for with how this is being implemented? It's the first year. Are there things, pieces that I mean, for instance, like the space piece, the application opens in February. How do you know what your space is going to be for the next year? Obviously, you can try to model it out and, estimate things, but I mean, is there anything that's concerning you that maybe we just need to keep an eye on, or we can consider maybe
It's the
tweaking?
first time we are doing it, so I think we all are going to live and learn during this process. The piece that we already do because of our in-district choices, we look at where there is capacity at each grade level. And so if I'm zoned for this elementary school, we already allow parents, if there is choice or if there is space, to transfer into that other school. So we have the beginnings of that analysis already underway. And the vast majority of our limitations is going to be around staffing and how many kids we have So that part I don't think is going to be as difficult for us because we've already done
Right,
it
that makes
within
sense.
district. The piece that is still, we've got to think through how to communicate is, one, the application process. And so we've never run an application process quite like this requires, because the law says that we have to have a process that is both online,
And
mobile
paper.
friendly, and
saw that.
paper. And so right now, we do not have paper pencil registration anymore. Our registration platform is not mobile friendly. And so those are just technical issues we're going to have to work out. It's also, we have over 200 kids who currently live outside of Darlington County who come into Darlington County to our schools. And how do we balance and find the right placement on fees that they've been used to paying $750 a semester? We could charge them up to $6,000 a year. How do we phase that in? How do we make sure that they are aware of the requirements for ESTF so that if they are eligible, they apply and they can access state funds to help cover that difference? And so it's going to be a lot of communication to parents around those pieces that are going to be new to us. And the Education Scholarship Trust Fund accounts are relatively new state policy in general. And so it's just going to be working through those pieces.
I'm trying to make sure we communicate clearly so there's not misunderstanding about what is
And
and isn't
it's-
allowed and all those kinds of things. Can get a little tricky because
Little
it's very
tricky.
technical. There's a lot of detail. Of
And
what
we
is
did
and
our
isn't
best in
allowed.
writing this policy, as opposed to some of the model policies, is to not put in specific days where the law doesn't give a specific day, and not say 14 days, for example, before this. But that way, we're giving ourselves a little leeway and
Wiggle room
grace.
to,
But the part two that, again, to Mr. Govan's point, is the biggest change is going to be a reminder that we are operating under choice and people can leave us and they can come to us. And so how do we make sure we are being good stewards and providing good customer service? Because our current board policy says that Darlington County School District will not release a child to a neighboring district. And this changes that.
At what point, or will there be something in place where you could potentially say, or not accept a child?
Off the top of my head, and I'm sorry I don't have it pulled up, but I know that the requirements are that if the child has attendance issues and have discipline issues, then we can say we will not accept them. You cannot discriminate against a child based on gender, sex, race, ethnicity, special education status. You also cannot, according to this policy, arguably discriminate against a child who is low performing in another district.
I ask that because I guess I'm piggybacking off of Mr. Govan's concern, because in the past I've heard of a school where an athletic person changed schools and brought in several athletes from where they came from to make a strong team, which, there's always that potential. So how would this choice address that?
What I think this would allow is that if those athletes were to apply to transfer in and there was space available, we would have to offer them the opportunity to attend that school. It is still unclear, because of high school league changes, if they would be eligible to play a sport at that school. I think that's still an open question, and one, really, the school board's not going to be able to decide. That's going to be a state issue. But, so they would have to be allowed in. Whether or not they are eligible for high school league athletics is an open question. I think the intent of the law was that they would be able to transfer one time in their high school career, but beyond that, I think they would not. And then high school league rules would always apply on top of that.
So the one transfer you were talking about was not in regards to athletics. That was just period.
Well, it says in regard to athletics, subject to high school league rules. So it's gonna be litigated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if somebody transferred, they were not involved in athletics, and they transferred in,
They could
out of the
transfer every
district,
year.
They could transfer every year.
Going
Yeah.
back there.
Or grant,
My last question,
ability to transfer based on athletic.
do you know if this district is still under any litigation as it relates to the choice issue upon which the school district was mandated to operate under?
We are not. Darlington County School District is one of the few districts in the state of South Carolina that is not actively under an order. And it is my understanding of history that the school district in its creation of Mayo and all of that
That's why I
process
raised the question.
is when it came out from under the order and we no longer have to go to a federal court. Very few districts in the state of South Carolina are in a similar place as Darlington County.
Once again, when does these have to go into effect?
We have to have passed a policy by August or in August, and it will be implemented for the first time application process in January, February, March. And then the first students who are eligible to transfer in would be entering our school district next school year. Next school year.
27.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I would move that we adopt policy JFAB and JFABR for first reading.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so they passed for first reading. You said we'll bring those back for second reading in August?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds great. All right, Renee, you're back up. Talk about the GO bond.
Unless there are questions, if there are questions.
Okay, the action item for tonight is approval of the resolution for the 2026 general obligation bond. This is the same bond that we do every year. We issue the bond usually in September, and we pay it off in March, and it's used for capital projects that are on the capital projects list. There's nothing unusual about it. I think we've got it set to not to exceed 17 million, so we will, once they sell the bond, and Compass and the attorneys will handle that, we'll determine the exact amount. I think this past year is 16.5, but it will not require us to increase the debt service millage. It'll be the same, and it's the same thing we've been doing for many, many years.
We pay this off every year, right?
Yeah, we issue it in September and then pay it off in March with our debt service funds.
I make a motion, we approve the $17 million bond.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Does anybody have any questions before you vote?
We've got representatives from our attorney's office and from our financial advisors. Now, both of them will be back in August when we discuss the referendum.
No questions?
Does this require two votes? I can't remember. We just voted one
This is
time.
it.
This is it, remember?
Okay, all right, so all in favor of passing the GO bond as presented? Any opposed? No? Okay, so that passes. Thank you. All right, Dr. Ferguson, I'll turn it over to you for your update.
All right, so I am no PowerPoint tonight. I'm going to be short and sweet, but I
Summertime.
want to say summer is over, and that is hard to believe. I want to give a quick shout out, but a sincere shout out to the administrators in the school district and also the district office. They have worked really hard this summer, and our summers are very short, but they are making sure that we are ready to receive our 9,000 students in just a short few weeks away. I got to give a special shout out to our HR team, Dr. Hersey, Dr. Mason, and Mr. Johnson. We are right now, knock on wood, I think, and it changes by the minute every day, but we are 8 teachers away from being fully staffed, and we are hard at work at making sure that by the time we begin the school year, we are fully staffed. Our principals are coming in for 2 days of in-service tomorrow, so we are going to be all day doing professional development with them on operations and making sure that we are starting strong. Our staff comes back next week on Thursday for the first days for staff to be back in our buildings. And it's hard to believe that the week after that, our students will return on the Thursday of that week. Convocation changes, we've mentioned this briefly before, but just so that you are aware, we have been listening, and it seems that teachers would rather have the time in their schools, in their classrooms, preparing for the students to return than spending half a day in the arena. They enjoy seeing each other, they enjoy that time together, but they would rather spend that time preparing their classrooms to be ready for students to come back. So we're going to do something a little different this year. We are going to create a virtual convocation experience, have a video that all of the teachers watch during their district professional development day. All of the elementary teachers in the district will come to Black Creek Elementary. They will watch the video convocation, and then they will jump right into their district professional development. That next day, all of the secondary teachers, the middle school and our high school teachers, will be at Hartsville Middle School. They'll watch the convocation, jump right into their professional development so that they gain a full day back to be in their schools and their classrooms preparing for students. We're going to see how it goes. I'm sure some people will miss the camaraderie, the dancing, the fun that we have at convocation. I'm sure some of those same folks will say they enjoyed being back in their building. So we'll poll people after that, but that's a change this year that we're going to try to give some folks some time back in their buildings. We also, like last year, will be working to visit all of our schools within the first 3 days of the school year starting back. I sent you that schedule. Y'all are welcome to join us on all 3 days, just one of the days, but it was a lot of fun last year. The first day of school is a lot like Christmas to educators. It is some of our happiest days, and so if you are available and would like to join us, it'll be a sprint, but we're going to hit all of our schools in those first 3 days, welcome folks back, welcome the kids back, and look at our facilities, talk to our custodians, our cafeteria workers. So it'll be a lot of fun over those 3 days. So if you are available, please join us on those first 3 days. And
That was 29th, 30th, and 31st.
it is the Thursday, Friday, and that next Monday.
Okay.
Because kids
Thursday,
come
Friday,
back
the
on
30th. Okay,
ma'am.
30th, 31st, and
the 3rd.
Okay. All right.
And that is it for me.
That's it. Am I having, really? Wow, we are moving right along. All right, we'll go to board member input. Let's start over here on the short side. Ms. Carreri?
I just wanted to remind everyone that on the second Saturday of every month that we are meeting at the Hartsville Farmers Market. And it's been hot, but really fun. And we've had a lot of people stop by the booth. We're serving popcorn, and there's usually teachers, some of the senior leadership team, board members, superintendent there, and the public can walk up and ask questions and learn more about a referendum. So just want to invite everyone to come out on the second Saturday of the month, and also pick up some fresh organic eggs and and tomatoes and stuff. That's all.
Okay. Ms. Gore?
I just wanted to say, welcome back, Mr. Johnson. It's very nice to see you. And I look forward to the new year, Dr. Ferguson, and the new changes. And I'm pretty sure that the virtual convocations will be just fine. And I'm looking forward to the first 3 days. I might miss the first day, but I'm going to try my best to attend, because I went last year and it was I think this teachers and the principals were very excited to see the board supporting them at their various schools. So I think that was a very good idea for us to do and to continue that practice this year. And I'm looking for us to do our virtual conference. And you said we was gonna meet at Black Creek Elementary. I missed it. I was writing it in my notes. What did you say?
Black Creek is, will be the Monday, the 8th, 27th?
27th is that Monday.
What about it?
Right?
Yeah, so all of the elementary teachers will be at Black Creek Elementary
okay.
on the Monday, the 27th. Board members are welcome if you'd like to come out and see our elementary teachers on that day, and sit in on some of our professional development. And then our secondary will be at Hartsville Middle School on Tuesday, the 28th.
Okay,
And so we won't have one day where all the teachers are together, but we will have a day where all the elementary are together and a day where all of our secondary are together.
okay. And also, I just wanted to let you all know I celebrated a birthday yesterday, and Valencia and I both, we celebrated our birthdays, and we made the 70s mark. So, so thank
birthday.
y'all so very much.
Yay.
She just told everybody your age.
We don't care about our age, because we look so young.
That's right.
All right, Miss birthday girl, Miss Thomas.
Well, I would like to introduce myself to Mr. Johnson. I am one of the more recent individuals that was elected to the school board, and I've heard wonderful things about you during your tenure here before. So just know that if I can assist you in any way, feel free to let me know. Just call in anytime. I look forward to a productive upcoming school year. And yes, I did turn 70, but my mind said that I am 25 and my body said I'm 80. That's it.
All right. Ms. Thompson?
I was just going to say, I just wanted to thank, piggybacking off of Dr. Ferguson, that the summer is short, and I know that puts pressure on our administrators and our district folks and maintenance and some of those types of people that are trying to get those things done and get us prepared in the summer. But I sure did love having fall break and all those extra breaks when, as a parent. It's really nice to spread that out and get those moments of relief at the end of every 9 weeks. So hopefully y'all feel that way too, but appreciate all the extra effort that goes into the shorter summer and how that impacts folks to try to get a lot done in a short period of time. I also was at the farmer's market, and I that was the first time I'd been out to do that, and it was so much fun just because we got to hang out and talk to each other in a casual way, no agenda. Everybody's just, so it was really nice, and it was great to see those of you that came out. There were principals and others that were there, and just an opportunity to, I guess you'd say, fellowship or whatever, in a neutral environment where we're just all there to support the district and no pressure. So it was really fun, and I think I'm going to make that a regular. I'm hoping I can make that a regular activity as much as possible, just because it was really nice to see everybody. So thank you. And then lastly, I do also try to. I really want to try, and I'm gonna look at my work schedule and try to get out for some of those first day as much as I can. I'm going to try to sneak over to some schools because it looks like a lot of fun. Like you said, Christmas, the first day of school, and the kids are excited, and they got their new backpacks, and the teachers have done up their rooms. And my mom was a teacher, and it just brings back that memory of, helping her get her classroom ready at the beginning of the school year and all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to make it at least here or there as much as I can, but just really appreciate everybody, and I hope I'll get a chance to come show you. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Jeffrey?
Okay, I'd like to welcome Mr. Johnson back. I hated when he left the first time. Glad to see him come back, and appreciate you. And Dr. Ferguson's already given you a report, so I know you got 8 vacancies, which is
We can
really good.
confirm that number. It may have changed today, so
Change in 10 minutes?
it was 8. Okay.
That's correct, okay. And I think that's the lowest number we've had at this time in years, probably ever. So, appreciate the job everyone's doing. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Hersey. She did a marvelous job while filling in, and we didn't skip a beat when she was there, and I really appreciate her for what she did. And looking forward to the school year, and it's hard to believe in a couple of weeks we'll be at it again, so
That's true.
good luck, everyone. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Cavill?
Few things. I want to remind all of you about the back to school giveaway book bags and that kind of thing. I think Dr. Ferguson has put it in our information of the dates of those, and it's a good time to get to meet the children, parents, and the community, and I would encourage you to come. I also want to thank Larry for coming back, and I know he'll do a good job, because I know what he did when he was here before, but not just Mr. Johnson, but the new staff members and new teachers and all that we've hired over the summer that will be new to this district. I want to welcome you here and encourage you to ask questions, to not feel that any question is a dumb question, but just to ask so that you start off on the right foot. Because my thought process as it relates to new teachers is what gets monitored gets done, and that what you start out with is what you end up with. Thank you.
God, the summer has been crazy. It's quick. I told Dr. Ferguson last week, I feel like the summer's just getting started, and we're already talking about kids coming back to school. So I don't think that we've had I know we haven't had a regular board meeting, but since we had our Hall of Fame ceremony, and even if I've already said it publicly, I'm gonna say it again, that ceremony was so just first class, top notch, just all the way around was excellent. So I don't want to name names because I would miss somebody. There were a lot of people that were involved putting it together, but it was just first class. Every year it gets better, and I don't know how we top this year, but it was excellent. So thank you to everybody who had a part in that. It is interesting. You're on this side of the table, on this side of the room now, and you used to sit over here. So it is kind of a little deja vu. But it is good to have you back, Mr. Johnson. Just like to say to all our teachers, both new and just returning, soak up these last few days of summer. We have great high expectations for you next year and of our kids and all of our staff. So enjoy these last few days of summer, and it'll soon be time to get to work. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the personnel actions.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the personnel action recommendation.
All right, is there a second?
I do have one question, please.
Okay.
I noticed that there is an item called resignation, retirement, pending suitable replacement. If there is no replacement,
So if there is no replacement and a person does not show up, then that person is in breach of their contract, and they will be reported first to this board, and then the board will consider whether or not to forward the administration's recommendation to the State Board of Education, who ultimately decides what happens to that person. What the state board typically does is it says that if you breach a contract, then your teaching certificate is suspended for a period of time, usually not to exceed the academic year in which you didn't show up to work. But it is one of those situations where teachers are certified folks who receive certified contracts, and if they sign a contract saying they will come back, then they have to be released from that contract before they can go work in another district, because you can't be under two contracts at one time. What typically happens and what we try our best to do is to ensure that if a person is requesting to leave, HR is actively seeking folks to fill those spots, and as soon as we have a recommendation of someone to fill that spot, we release that person to go to the next employee.
So they were already under contract to return, and now they're saying they would like to leave.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So what the law allows is there's a point in May, I think it is around the 10th, unless the 10th falls on a weekend, that teachers have to return their contracts either signed, and if they do not return that contract signed, then they are effectively not under contract for the next year. What we typically do as a district is if someone does not sign that contract or signs that contract and then requests to be released from it, particularly after the end of May, we say that any release is pending suitable replacement. The closer folks get to the start of school year, the harder it is to find a replacement, and so there may be, it's more likely that that person would not have a suitable replacement.
But we try.
But we try. It's posted, and we do our best to make sure that there's somebody there.
Because you don't know if they're gonna
And
come back or if they're gonna not.
Yeah, and realistically, we really don't want to keep anybody who doesn't want to be here. I mean, to be very frank with you. So if they want to go, we're going to make every effort to be sure that they're allowed to go.
That's right.
Okay. So I believe we had a second, so now we're at a point of voting. So all in favor of the personnel actions?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, so that carries. We do not need an executive session tonight.
And I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?